It was a Saturday when Ian got so sick. He wasn't feeling well, so I told him just to lie down. I went to check on him, and he was really warm. His temp was 104. He was so sick. We went to urgent care right away. The doctor said he had strep throat. He said we needed to get Ian on some antibiotics, so he wrote us a prescription. It was early Saturday evening. Ian really needed those antibiotics, and the pharmacy was closed till Monday. He was so sick. I couldn't believe it. I can get cash from my ATM 24 hours a day. I can pump gas round the clock. Why can't I get my child an antibiotic when he's sick and he really needs it?
The majority of our patients come from the west side of our service area, and some of them are driving 45 miles to get here. If they were discharged in the evening or on a weekend, they had to drive 20 to 25 miles to the east of us to get their prescriptions filled.
Some of the demographic that we serve can't afford a car, and so they will get a ride to the hospital, but they would also have to get another ride to the pharmacy, and that isn't always possible.
The physician would determine sometimes if the patient needed a starter dose or if he thought that they just couldn't take the time to have it filled. They'd send that prescription down to the pharmacy and we would fill that prescription for the patient. But we didn't have a means to charge for that, so we gave those prescriptions away.
Some physicians have told me that what will happen will be that they'll see someone for bronchitis. They'll give someone a starter pack, get them going, the person feels better, doesn't get their prescription filled, and so they're back again, but this time it's pneumonia.
It seems so crazy that you have to go to one place to get your diagnosis and another place to get your cure, and you should get everything at one place at one time.
Particularly, we found that this is true of our patients who are with children, where the patient is a child, they're with mom or dad, and it's like, I don't want to take this kid into a pharmacy too, I just want to go home.
All of us at one time or another have experienced the need to receive medicines late at night, after hours, on the weekends. All of us have had the opportunity to probably care for a sick child or a sick parent or an elderly friend or neighbor. And now with InstyMeds, you can get those medicines 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, conveniently, fast, efficient, safe.
It's a brand new product, and so the first resistance that we're met with is that some people are afraid of change, and so they'll be hesitant because they've never heard of this. It seems like the future.
Honestly, my first reaction was, no way it's going to fly. The skepticism was based on whether or not our patients would use it, the level of education that would be required from our patients to use it, ease of use in terms of a physician, acceptance by the community, if it created ill will with local pharmacists, all of these type of things. In August of last year, we implemented the program, got the machine in here, and I was very surprised at how quickly our patients took to the machine. Not having to go to a pharmacy, not having to wait an hour or longer to get their prescriptions filled, having the medicine there right away.
They did install the dispenser, and she's one of our biggest advocates. Once she saw the technology at work and saw how it was changing lives and helping her patients, she loves it. And actually, she went to our company. She took a 6-hour drive and went over to Eden Prairie to meet with Brad and to tell them that she just thought that it was a great thing.
I spent a couple of hours with them and I really enjoyed it. I found it to be a great group of people, first of all. Very dedicated to what they're doing, very concerned with safety and with quality and with making sure that everything's being done exactly the right way.
Our mission statement is really quite simple. We want to make people better, quicker. And we want to do that through valuing all the lives that we touch every day, whether it's the patients that are actually using our product, our doctors, our clinics, our hospitals, administrators, our employees, and our shareholders. We want everyone to be touched by the value of InstyMeds.
Once we had the InstyMeds machine installed, the patients loved it. They had a means of getting their prescription without having to stop at a pharmacy on the way home. And it provided that extra bit of patient care that we weren't able to provide before. So we thought that it was kind of a win-win situation for the hospital and for the patient.
What this has done for us is it's given us an alternative for our patients that's much more convenient for them, that is on-site and minimizes the amount of discomfort or difficulty they have in terms of getting to the medications.
The service that we're able to provide with InstyMeds 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is really necessary for a hospital of this size with a level 1 trauma center with the number of emergency department visits that we have.
It has been a godsend for us because our patients aren't spending an hour and a half to 2 hours on the road to get their prescriptions and then get home when they're not feeling well.
This is the InstyMeds dispenser. It is very convenient for the patient to use. Patient's going to take this prescription. It's going to be a code on here. They're going to come up to the dispenser, very easily punch in their code. The next thing it's going to ask them is their date of birth. From there, it's going to total up their copay. Patients have the option to pay by credit card, debit card, or cash. Their change is dispensed down here. Patient can choose to take a receipt if they wish. All their prescriptions are dispensed down here. The neat thing about the InstyMeds dispenser is all of the prescriptions are labeled inside before it drops out for the patient. The telephone here is available to the patient should the patient have any questions about their insurance, about their copay, or any questions in regards to their medication. It is a direct dial phone. The patient just picks it up and somebody is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All right, now let's take a look at the inside of the dispenser. You can see right here, this is where all the product that is going to be used is going to be placed. Each magazine holds anywhere up to 11 bottles, so every one of these magazines will hold the same drug, same quantity, and same strength. There is a webcam inside. We're able to take a look at the label stock as well as the receipt paper, if it needs to be changed out, as well as do any type of maintenance remotely. After the patient enters their code, this is what takes place on the inside. There's going to be 3 verification checkpoints that are done. The first one's going to be on the magazine to make sure that it did dispense the correct medication. From there, it's going to take it over to a second area where it's going to actually scan the bottle to make sure that that bottle did come from the correct location. If it was incorrect at this point, it would actually drop it into the reject bin below and go try again. The second scan has been done, and now it's going to label the product. Now that the product has been labeled, it's going to verify that information. And it's going to drop it into the holding bin. If there had been more than 1 bottle, it will hold it in the holding bin and go try again for the second or third bottle. And from here, it's going to dispense it for the patient. The medication is dispensed. The patient is now on their way, feeling better, quicker.
In addition to making patients better quicker, the InstyMeds dispenser does offer an opportunity to capture additional revenue for the hospitals and the clinics. This revenue is captured through a drug revenue sharing program that we've developed and is automatically taken care of by the dispenser.
I do think that with InstyMeds, the return on it is much greater than you can put on paper.
There are a lot of efficiencies there. If you think of the amount of time or the amount of labor that it would take to fill those prescriptions during the day that we're currently doing with InstyMeds, we would have some incremental labor costs. We would have to add some people in order to be able to do that and provide that service.
When the patients start asking you for it, and the patients, it becomes patient-driven.
People are going to choose their healthcare facility based on whether or not they have InstyMeds. If you are holding a child or you're not feeling well yourself, if your choice is to go somewhere and then know you have to leave and go yet another place to receive your medicines, or you can get it all in one place, where are you going to go?
And I would encourage anybody, any physician with a clinic or an administrator that has a hospital walk-in clinic or emergency department to consider the InstyMeds technology and what it can do for their patients, their professionals, and the community in general.
The InstyMeds machine has Again, it has provided the service that we were looking for. It's 24 hours a day, it's 7 days a week, it is virtually 100% accurate, and it never calls in sick.
I'm so glad to know that InstyMeds figured out a solution. It's really important to me that my clinic has InstyMeds so then I can get my child help when he really needs it. Every hospital and clinic really needs InstyMeds. Having InstyMeds is an absolute no-brainer.